Hey friends, Justine, and I recently got a chance to try out the Vision Pro. Now, to be completely transparent with you, I have tried it 4 times now, and each time was a little bit different and each time was a different sort of experience. I asked you guys if you had any questions, so I'm gonna go through and answer a few, but I guess before I do that, my initial experience with it was at WWDC, and it was unlike anything I had experienced inside of any type of VR, AR headset, because it's like just the Apple way. Like they just have this way of capturing something unique and delivering it in such a manner where you're just like, okay, I understand now, I see the appeal. I think the thing that's gonna be kind of difficult for launch is like, what are you actually gonna do with it? Because I still feel like developers are still creating, so it is pretty early. So the main thing that I feel like most people are gonna be doing is consuming content, and it's a really incredible experience, I will say that. We watched a trailer of Star Wars, and I was able to watch it on an immersive environment on Tatooine. I actually got a little emotional, but I was like, okay, I don't wanna cry inside of my headset here. Like I was sitting there, you know, in just an environment that felt like I was on another planet watching the Star Wars trailer. And that was just, it was kind of unbelievable, to be honest with you. The other thing that's cool are these subtleties. When someone starts talking to you, you can look at them and they'll kind of just fade into view. So that would be the point that they would actually be able to see your eyes. So that was also something that was just kind of unbelievable, is being able to see somebody's eyes through the display. And what's interesting is it kind of looks like you're actually looking at their eyes, but it is a digital replica of the emotions and things that like your face is doing projected onto the screen, because you can't see through it. It's just mimicking what you're doing. And it was so realistic, like it actually creeped me out, because I was like, those eyes, like they're not yours, but like they look exactly like them. So it's like my mind could not differentiate between the fact that it wasn't real. So that was actually pretty awesome. In that same demo, when kind of looking at like the eyesight, is if somebody is looking at a piece of content, the screen will kind of start like blurring or be a different color. So you'll know that they can't actually see you. But when they kind of come back into view and you're looking at somebody, that's when you'll be able to see their eyes. So there is that connection that lets you know when you're being acknowledged, or if they're inside of a film or they're scrolling a website or whatever. Like it's pretty wild. I think most people have been asking if it's heavy, and I'm not gonna lie to you, it is a heavy headset. But most of the time I've just been using the kind of solo knit loop and not the one that kind of goes over top of your head. So I really think that's gonna make a huge difference. I also have apparently a smaller head, because a lot of comments were like, Justine, why does it look so big on your head and not so big on others? I'm like, well, I mean, that's just relativity. I guess that's just how it happens. There is gonna be a fitting process so that you will get the right size headset. And another question that a lot of people were asking is if you wear contacts or glasses, you are able to get Zeiss optical lenses, which it doesn't come, I think, directly from Apple, it comes from Zeiss. So they are able to take your prescription and they'll be able to ship you the correct inserts for that. So I probably will order myself a set of the inserts, mostly because I feel like if I'm gonna be using this is gonna be like, I'm chilling, I'm lounging, like I don't wanna have to wear my contacts if I don't actually have to have them in. I'm relaxing. And I feel like for me, this is gonna be that type of device. I don't really know how it's gonna fit into my life, so I really kind of look forward to seeing how this all evolves, because I honestly don't know. And I feel like a lot of people don't know, and that's kind of the mystery behind it. I think developers and consumers and the demand for a specific thing for this, I guess, will kind of, push the industry that way. So I'm definitely excited to try that out. So let me just go into some of the questions. So Hawaii is asking about creating spatial videos for Vision Pro. With the iPhone 15 Pro, you are able to record spatial video, and it basically is using the top 2 lenses and recording it simultaneously. So I haven't tried to edit that footage, and I don't think right now that Final Cut supports it, but obviously Final Cut is an Apple app. So if for some reason they don't support editing spatial video, then I don't really know what to say. I do feel like that'll be coming. It has to be, like it just has to be. Now I did get a chance to shoot and view some of my content in the headset. So I think the biggest piece of advice that I would say for most people is you don't have to really worry about like moving the camera around too much. It does do a really good job of stabilizing it, but I would just kind of try to stay, like not super still, but just don't go wild, like running around, because I mean, I know for me, I get motion sickness very easily. So that is not the type of content that I want to watch. So I'm going to try my best. Any type of content that I shoot, I will make sure that like I'm not getting super wild and out of control. You do have to keep the phone like pretty far away to really get a good shot, because if you're filming and like there's a face like super close, that face is gonna be super close in the headset and it's unsettling. So I did find that I was able to shoot spatial video of myself and it turned out okay. So as long as I held this out as far as I possibly could, it was just the right kind of distance away that it wasn't super overpowering. So it will be kind of interesting to see how, you know, vlogging goes in spatial video. As for where you can post it, I definitely think if you airdrop it to somebody, it will keep that metadata intact, but I don't know about posting online. I don't think YouTube supports it yet. This is still early, so I do imagine that websites will be supporting spatial video soon, hopefully, fingers crossed. Deb V is asking how good the ear side speakers are. The speakers were shockingly good. I was actually surprised because it almost felt like I was wearing headphones or AirPods or something, but I wasn't. It was just the speakers coming right out of the Vision Pro, and it was super impressive. Does the eye tracking eliminate any dizzy feelings? So I really haven't got to use it for extended periods of time. I never really felt dizzy. The pass-through video, so like you can kind of see around you, it's super fast. So like when you're walking around, like it feels like you're walking around in the real world. The only thing that is strange is it like tricks your brain because you're looking out at a screen, but like it's the real world. So your brain knows that you're looking at the real world, but your eyes are still seeing the screen. So the only thing that feels different is there's like this slight eye fatigue of when you're like looking at a screen or you're, you know, working a lot on like your phone or something like that. You still have that just digital eye strain feeling. The Dread Day is asking how long do you think people will be able to wear it continuously before fatigue? I think that's gonna be a personal thing. I feel like it's something that you might have to get used to and work up to. I know anytime I have used the MetaQuest or even PlayStation VR 2, I don't do a lot in VR. So for me, every time I do use it, it's an adjustment period. So I do feel that the longer that I use it every other day, I feel like I kind of get used to it more. So I think this is gonna be along those same lines. And I definitely don't recommend somebody just kind of like popping in this and like spending the entire day, the first day that you get it. I think it's something that you do need to ease your way into because it is a completely different experience. And there's so much stimulation that it made my brain just tired from just experiencing so much information so fast that I think that's gonna be the thing that's gonna be fatiguing for people, not necessarily wearing it. It's just the overstimulation of so much content so quickly. I do think that the strap that you'll be able to get, which actually does come with it, is gonna help out so much with how heavy the headset is, because it is heavy, but it feels premium, it feels really well made, but it is heavy, especially for my small little face. Silly Mikey says, do you see yourself wearing one regularly or more of a situational thing? I don't know, TBD. I do think that obviously because it's gonna be a new device, I probably will wear it pretty frequently, and I guess depending upon the different types of things that come out for it, I don't know, we're gonna see, but I'm excited to kind of go on this journey. Is it worth $3,500? I mean, that's hard to say. That is a lot of money, and plus with taxes, it's probably gonna be about $4,000, but it is kind of its own standalone device. So don't really think of it as a companion. Well, I guess it is kind of a companion to your phone or your MacBook, but I guess for some people, this essentially could possibly, you know, replace your computer, depending upon the things that you do, or replace your iPad or something like that, if we're talking in sort of those types of metrics, but it is a very expensive device. And of course it is new. It's the first of its kind. So I think that is to be expected. And of course, coming from Apple, having this be their Pro premium device, down the line, maybe there will be an Apple Vision, not Pro. Eric is asking if I'm gonna actually answer any questions. Yes. Any rumors of Beats collaboration limited edition Vision OS devices, something that might get 2 columns in vogue? The way that I don't know what you're referring to, but I like that thought. Have I tried it with the over-the-head strap? I have not. Yes, no, I did. Did I try it? I don't remember. I think I did. Did I? Ugh, my memory is absolutely terrible. I don't know. I'll get back to you. Charlie's asking about best practices for shooting spatial videos. Should I hold my eye at eye level to mimic the natural movement of my head? Locked off tripod shots to minimize movement or something else? I think just making slow movements, keeping things further in the distance, maybe a little bit further than kind of like your hand so that it doesn't feel super close. The spatial video setting will tell you when you should move back from an object, which is great because it kind of gives you that distance just to let you know like, okay, this is too far, this is too close, and it'll kind of give you that visual representation on the screen if you're too close to something. I don't think you necessarily have to keep it on a tripod because it does a really great job of keeping everything stabilized. John says, did it spark joy? Actually, it did. And the type of joy that it sparked for me was this childlike just wonder, because it was something that I'd really never experienced. Seeing like my Apple ecosystem right before my eyes, being able to pinch and just grab a window, bring it forward and bring it back, and so quickly and so smoothly, the intuitiveness and just the smooth interface and just the way that you interact with things, it really is, it's wonderful. Mab asks, how do TV shows look? How comfortable is it to wear? TV shows and stuff look amazing. I mean, it really is an entertainment viewing experience. And what's so awesome is their immersive environments, like 360 degrees of beauty. And they have like the sounds of that immersive experience. So, you know, I was at this like lookout in Hawaii, and I've actually been to this lookout in real life. So for me, kind of looking at this in this whole new way, it's really emotional. And even watching like my own content that I've shot, it was like reliving these things for the second time. Kind of mind-blowing. Jay is asking if I can feed my Genopets in Vision Pro. That's actually a good question. I do know that I did open up an iPad app in Vision Pro, so there are obviously apps that are specific for Vision Pro, but when I opened up one of the iPad apps, it looked almost exactly like just you would imagine. It just opened up and I was able to use it, interact with it. And the other cool thing, when you're browsing the web in Safari and you see a link somewhere, you just kind of look around, and if you want to click on it, you just look at it and you click on it. It's almost like you're using your mind to control, and it's such a weird experience. I think somebody actually asked me about the virtual keyboard. Let me get to your question. Somebody asked me about it. I don't know where it went. Anyway, whoever asked about the virtual keyboard, you can have this little keyboard pop up, and when you look at the bottom right corner, you can move it around. So like if I look at the bottom corner, I'm able to just move that keyboard forward towards me. And this is where it messes with your mind, because you can actually type on the virtual keyboard, but it gives you this weird sensation. I don't know how it happens. It's kind of like a little haptic feedback. It's the strangest feeling, because I'm like, I know there's nothing in front of me, but I'm touching the keyboard and I still feel something. It's wild. Also, what's cool is you can use your voice. In Safari, there's like a little microphone that you can go and look at it, click it, and then you can use your voice to go to websites. You can also use your voice to type when you have the keyboard popped up. So there's all these other different things, so you don't actually have to type. But the typing was kind of fun. Ines is asking how the motion sickness was for me. It has been a problem with other VR headsets. I didn't feel any motion sickness. I mean, I wasn't playing any games or really doing anything super intense. I was kind of seated most of the time. I did get a chance to try out this one app where they brought in this huge, like, race car, and you could pull it apart. It felt so real. Like, I was kind of shocked, like when this thing just plopped down. It was like a life-size race car and you could take it apart. So every time I would look at a piece, I would just grab it and flick it. I would look at something, I took the whole thing apart. You could take the wheels off. I feel like this is a really cool demo for education. So if I wanted to learn about, I mean, maybe even like doing like surgery or things like that, like you could really get a very realistic view of a body, or like doing surgery, or even just fixing cars or mechanics or things like this. So honestly, this is gonna be a really great device for educational purposes. Is the cord an issue? Did not seem like one. I had pockets at the time, so when I did get up and walk around, I just slipped the little pack into my pockets. Even though the headset was kind of heavy, like I still was able to look around, look down, like it wasn't falling off. The cord seemed perfectly fine. Like I didn't even know it was there actually. Zach is saying that it looks uncomfy. Actually, it's not. It was surprisingly comfortable. I know we keep talking about how heavy it is, but for the way that the weight distributes on your face, the cushion is so soft, like which keeps the light from getting into the headset. And I really do think that once we get the top head strap, it's gonna make a huge difference for the comfort levels. But yeah, it's actually pretty comfortable, and I've worn a lot of different types of headsets. Ram is asking about my overall experience, how long did I keep it on? Each time was, I mean, it was definitely no more than 30 minutes, but the experience was great, and every experience was different, so I cannot wait to actually get my hands on this thing and get to experience it for myself and really test it out. Just the scrolling through of like photos. And the one thing that was shocking is if you're not taking panorama photos, you need to be taking them. I stopped taking them like in 2018 or 2015 after like, I don't know, it was a thing. They were awesome. It was probably one of my like top things that I did was get to test this out. Ian's asking if I shot any videos with the device. I did not, but that is something that I'm very excited because you can actually use the headset to shoot spatial videos. So that's gonna be super cool to test out. Are you surrounded by 360 or do you see black edges on the sides? So this is interesting because on the little digital crown, you're able to scale up how much you see and scale back. So if you're in one of these immersive environments, you can scale it so you don't feel completely immersed, and like the world will kind of just shrink and it'll all kind of fade. So you'll still see the real world, you'll still see the immersive environment, or if you want to just not see anything, you can turn that dial all the way up and be fully immersed, and it's definitely worth it. The cool thing though is you can still see your hands. So that kind of keeps you in reality, if you know what I mean. Like you can see your hands, you can move around, so it doesn't make you feel like you're just cut off from the world, like it's here. So it looks like that is all the questions that I have, other than everyone asking me if I could buy them one. No, I'm not gonna buy you one. Oh, I also like this. This one is, there it is again. It's the new Apple gang symbol. Vision Pro, you know it. There it is. I guess in closing, the coolest thing that I kind of experienced was just the way that you could look at something and interact with it, and how accurate and precise that vision was. Like when you look at something, like you see it, you pinch it, you got it. And it also doesn't really matter where you have your hands. I mean, I'm sure you can't like have them like over your head, or I'm not really sure what the limit is, but for the most part, no matter where I had my hands, if I just had them sitting or resting in my lap, I could just pinch. Like I didn't have to make it a thing. Like we didn't have to be like up here just so I could select something. You can just be sitting, resting, and you could just pinch because there are sensors right on like the bottom, so it'll pick you up like wherever you are. So I think that was kind of just the coolest thing, like how accurate it was. So yeah, I guess that's it. I guess if you have any other questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below, and if there's anything that you'd like me to test out when I actually get a device to review, I would love to hear it. And it's also gonna be interesting to review too, because it's gonna be so much content inside my head, so it's gonna be fun to kind of figure out a way to be able to share with you guys what I'm seeing, because it is something that you, I think, really have to go to the Apple Store and just try it, because it is so awesome, and I look forward to seeing what you guys think. So if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell to be notified when I post a new video, so you guys will be the first to see when I get one of these to be able to review it. I cannot wait. I guess I'll see you guys in Vision Pro.